beautiful beaters, it's Gina from orchidandopal.com, and today we're going to be making the double split or jump ring bracelet by the talented designer Sam Westcott of Westcott Jewelry. She kindly granted me permission to teach her pattern, and I have two examples right here as you can see. I was inspired to create this one using slightly different sized beads for a project I shared last month from the Bargain Bead Box, but I thought it'd be nice to teach her tutorial exactly as she has the pattern written. Before we get into the exact materials you'll need to make this bracelet, I want to share that Sam has generously set up a coupon code just for my viewers, for you guys, and that code is OrchidOpal10, which I will also leave down below, as well as a link to her Etsy shop, because Etsy is where she sells not only this pattern, but lots of other patterns. So while that coupon code is available, I really encourage you to check her out, give her some love, because she is a very, very talented beaded jewelry artist. And in fact, she really specializes in bead weaving. So this design in particular is just a little bit different than some of the things she normally does. And if she gets enough interest, I may share another one of her designs this way in the future. So we'll see. So this is obviously in black and white, but her tutorials are in full color. Unfortunately, I only have a black and white printer, and that's why you see it like this. But her instructions are very clear, and you can check out her Etsy reviews too to see she has lots of happy customers. Today we will be making a bracelet that is approximately 7 inches long, but you can increase the length of the bracelet by increasing the beaded portion or by adding more split or jump rings or a larger clasp. Today I will be using 18 of color A 6x8 rondelle beads. I'll be using 34 of our color B. You'll need at least 65 split or jump rings. I'll be using the split rings, so they're kind of doubled up. They just look really nice, I think, because they're thicker. You can also get creative with the style split or jump rings, the colors of your beads, play around with different sizes, and come up with different results. Now, besides those items, I'll also be using this S-Lon cord. This is a nylon cord. I will be using a lobster clasp and also 4 random decorative beads that I pulled from my stash that will embellish the bracelet just like that. That is optional. Besides those things, of course, you'll need some jewelry pliers or a split ring opener, a pair of scissors, and you may find it helpful to have a bead awl like this one when you're making some of your knots to get them really tight. Of course, as usual, I will leave the full materials list and links down below to everything I'll be using today, as well as the coupon code for Westcott Jewelry's patterns, not just for this pattern, but all her patterns, and the link to her Etsy shop. The first step in creating this bracelet is to cut about 2 sections of your nylon cord that are approximately 2 to 2.5 feet long, just depending on how long you want your bracelet to be. Hold the ends of the 2 cord lengths that you cut together and bring over the opposite side. And you're going to start out by stringing on your lobster clasp. So you want to put your lobster clasp onto both of those cords, and you want to pull that down to about the middle of those 2 sections, just like that. So make sure your cord lengths are pretty much even. And once your clasp is set in the middle of all those strands, you're going to end up with 4 strands. Then you're just going to make an overhand knot. So I'm just taking my thread, all those 4 together, holding my lobster clasp tight, and making an overhand knot just like that. Keep all your 4 pieces of cord together as best you can, and you want to pull your knot all the way down to your lobster clasp. Now make sure that this is nice and tight, and as she says in her instructions, go ahead and pull on each one of the 4 strands to make sure your knot is tight. So that's what you should have to start your bracelet. So now you can see my lobster clasp is sitting right here. I have my 4 strands spread out so we can identify which strand is which. So one will be this one, 2, 3, and 4 to get us started. And what you want to do is pick up strands 2 and 3, which are our middle strands. And these are the ones you're going to start with. You want to take one of your rondelles. Now I called this color A. This is the color that's going to be going down the center. And then color B you need more of. You're going to have a stripe going down either side of those. Sam also does mention that you may want to use a product called Fray Check on the ends of your cord if you're having trouble getting your cords to go through your beads. It will make them tougher and more needle-like to make it a little bit easier to string. Now what I found with these middle beads, which are the ones you're trying to get 2 strands through, is I found it pretty easy to just do 1 thread at a time. So I'm starting with one of those middle threads, put it through, and now I'm going to pull these down, opening up that hole a little bit so that we can get the other thread through pretty easily. And there you go. So now that your rondelle color A, or the middle color, is on both of those middle threads, you can just pull that all the way down to your lobster clasp and knot. Now separate those threads again. And now you're going to be working with either side. The first thing we want to do is we want to pick up threads 1 and 2, and then pick up one of your split rings and put it on both of those threads and string it down to your work. And do the same thing with threads 3 and 4. With the ends of those in my fingers, I'm going to string on another split ring and slide that one down to my work, just like that. Now we're ready to string on some of our other color. So pick up just strand 1, this one that's on the left-hand side, and put that through one of those beads and bring it down. And now repeat that same step with thread 4, which is on the right-hand side. Pick up your secondary color and string that on, and then get your thread situated again. Now you're ready to pick up another split ring on each side. So just like you did before, pick up threads 1 and 2 that are on the left and string on one of your split rings, pulling that down, and also on the other side with threads 3 and 4, picking up a split ring and bringing that down on the other side. You can see how it's starting to come together, and we just want to get our threads situated again, making sure you pick up the correct ones for the next step. So now we are ready to pick up our primary color, or that center color, and we're going to put that on threads 2 and 3 there in the middle again. And just like I did before, I am going to put 1 thread through first, and then I'm going to come back while I'm holding this thread down, and I'm going to feed in the other thread. Then just pull that down to your work and make sure that you grab both of those, or do them one at a time to make sure that it's staying nice and tight. So then all you have to do is repeat these steps starting from the center bead. Again, we're going to pick up threads 1 and 2, and we're going to put on a split ring and slide it down. Pick up threads 3 and 4 and also pick up a split ring and slide it on down. Then take thread number 1 on the left side, pick up the other color rondelle and slide that one on down, and then pick up thread number 4 on the right hand side, pick up one of those other colors and slide that one down. Now we're going to frame everything up again by taking threads 1 and 2 and stringing on another split ring, and then threads 3 and 4, putting on another split ring. Then just make sure that you get your threads situated again so that you're playing with the right sequence and your cords aren't getting twisted. And this is where we're going to string on another one of those central rondelles onto threads 2 and 3. So just as before, taking one of those threads and putting it through, gonna hold the thread down to open up that hole, and then putting through the second cord and sliding that down. Now just repeat these steps until you run out of the rondelles that you're planning to use, and we will meet back and I will show you how to finish off your bracelet. All right, so once your bracelet is about 1/2 inch less than your desired length, and that is including from the tip of the lobster clasp if you're using one, make sure all your beads are sitting tightly in place with no obvious gaps. And this is where you're going to tie another overhand knot right at this location. So we're going to do that together just like this, and gather up all 4 of our strands and take your time with this, making sure you get that knot placed tightly next to that very last bead. You can just leave the slightest amount of wiggle room. That way on this end, for example, your knot and your thread on this end can sit centrally. And give each of these strands a pull to make sure everything is tight there. And then you're going to be attaching one of your split rings or a jump ring in the middle of another knot. Now what I did is I thread on the split ring onto one of the strings and pulled it down to the knot that I just made. And now I'm going to make another overhand knot right next to the other one. So just pull all those strings down just like we did before and pull that tightly. And you can see how that split ring is now sitting right there and in place to have your lobster claw hook right onto it. So that's our second knot. We're going to do one more. So do one more overhand knot and pull that right up to that second knot that you just made. And this is a situation where you may find it useful to use one of these bead awls. You don't have to, but this tool can be very useful when it comes to making knots. You can really get right up on a bead or right next to a previous knot that you made. So make sure all those knots are pulled tightly, and this is what you should have. At this point, you can embellish this end section if you'd like to. Again, here is the section from one of the bracelets I previously made. Just gather 4 coordinating beads. Maybe you have a container already with some miscellaneous beads that you are waiting to use. And we'll start by just stringing one of these on one of the threads. And pull that down. And you're going to make another overhand knot right at the end of that bead. Now you don't have to push it all the way up so that it's tight to the notch. You can leave a little bit of room. So we're just going to make a knot here, and I'm actually going to wrap this around twice. You don't have to, but it makes like a little bit thicker knot there. And like I said, I'm not going to go all the way to the end of that bead so it's really tight. I'm going to leave some wiggle room. I'll pull that really good. And this is where Sam suggests to use some glue, maybe a little dab of the GS Hypo Cement, because it has the tiny needle tip and is easy to apply a little dab of glue on that. You can also make another knot over top of the knot that you just made to make that knot even larger if you want. And pull that really tight. And then you'll just snip off the excess like that. Let's do another one together. I'll get this little check glass tulip strung on one of my threads and making a knot right about. And my knot ended up a little bit lower than what I'd like, but I'm actually gonna make another knot right over top of that, and it should actually pull it in a little bit more. There we go. Pull that. And snip off the excess. So again, this step is totally optional, but I think it's such a great idea. It's those details which really add to a piece and make them feel a little bit more special. So I'm going to go ahead and finish up my other 2 threads with these 2 beads, and then I will come back and we will admire the finished bracelet. All right, guys, so here is the finished bracelet as well as the other two color variations. I think it came out great. I just love Sam's design so much, and I think it's so versatile. You can really have fun with the different shapes and sizes of beads that you use in this design, and it's a pretty quick and simple style for everybody to pick up. One other thing you might notice is that I did add extra split rings to the one that was attached to our knotted portion right here, and that's just to show you an example that you could do that if you want to add some additional for further adjustability. And also don't forget that you can use some little dabs of glue on your knots to make sure that they are extra strong. Here's a look at the bracelet on my wrist. I think it's such a great way to use these rondelles too. I know a lot of us probably have these in our stash already. And there's that cute little embellished portion. As a reminder, Sam has generously set up a coupon code just for you guys for 10% off a purchase from her shop. I will flash that coupon code on the screen again, as well as leave it down below and a link directly to her Etsy shop. So please go over, give her a visit, check out her social media links that I will leave down below. Also, give her some love, let her know that you are stopping by from Orchid and Opal. I love working with other fellow artists from time to time, and so happy we could collaborate in this way and hope that I can collaborate with her again in the future. I want to thank you guys so much for being here for another tutorial, and I really appreciate you watching. Feel free to leave a comment down below. Let me know what you think of Sam's design. Let me know if you've tried out this bracelet or anything else you'd like to share. And until next time, I hope you guys have a fantastic rest of your day. And as always, happy beading. If you enjoyed this video, don't forget to give it a big thumbs up. For more content like this, don't forget to subscribe and hit the bell to be notified of my latest videos. You can check out the information section below this video for links to all my social media handles, recommended products, and my shop and blog at orchidandopal.com. Thanks for watching.